Coffee break with Jimmy. Well, I guess the government's reopened. I guess they had the Senate voted in. We had, I think, 6 Democrats that crossed over in the Senate, and then we had I guess it was 122 to 109 in the House. So the House passed. So the president signed the bill last night. So it's open again, and now what they're going to do is, the Democrats did this on purpose, and let's face it, ever since Donald come down the golden escalator, they've been against him ever since then, because the Democrats actually thought that he was in fact a Democrat, and he was going to run the Democrat Party when he decided that he was going to run, or at least when they talked about it years ago, like Oprah Winfrey and different shows. We've talked about this in the past. But Donald Trump has said from back then, because I've watched him for some time, because I like the guy. I like the way he handled himself and like the things that he talked about, especially when he said the country was ripping us off and other countries were ripping us off. And, different politicians were on the take, whether they be Democrat or Republican, they were on the take. But largely in part, the Democrats were. And, I've done different podcasts, like, well, let's just remember I did one here a couple of years ago about Misha Maynor when she ran for the Assembly, and she actually won her seat in the Assembly in legislation in Georgia. And I remember she thought that she was going to go in there and debate with other assemblymen and women. And because she was going to represent her constituency, and that's what she had planned, and that's what she thought was being by her running for the assembly there in the state of Georgia, that this is what she was going to do. But the head of the Democratic Party back then said that no, she needs and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but said you have to back up against the wall and listen. This is our policy. This is what we're going to do, and you just got to get in line and follow our lead. And well, she didn't like that. She thought that she was actually going to debate different things, and that concerned her constituents. And that's basically in the big picture for the House Representatives and the Senate. They're supposed to represent their constituency, and but the Democrats from day one, and they've done this for a number of years, especially here in the state of California. I say at least the last 15 years. I did a podcast a while back. For 15 years, we've been run by the Democrats since then. And I've seen some podcasters say, well, you know what? We have the 4th largest economy. Why do we have that? Because we're being run by the Democrats? No, it's not. We have the 4th largest economy because we are in position. We could do better. We could do a lot better. Because you think about it. I've said it before. I'm getting off track here, but I've said it before. This bullet trains that they have that was supposed to cost. I don't know. I'm throwing out a number, but I know there's somewhere around $3 or $6 billion was supposed to cost. Now it's going to go from LA to San Francisco. Well, it's only gone from Bakersfield to Merced. Not a foot of track has been laid, and they're already up to about $33 billion on this, something to that effect. But they're already way over budget. And that's how the Democrats in California do. And this Gavin Newsom, he just doesn't have a clue. And I don't know what anybody's thinking. If he runs for president in 28, you got to forget about this guy, because this guy he's if you're looking at a template, look at California and what he did to California. He's made it a mess out here, a state that should be doing so much better, but they're not. Now you can go back to the elections here back in early November when they had they had a governor that ran in Georgia. In Virginia. They won in Virginia. Of course, Youngkin was the governor last go around in Virginia, but he was the first governor in, I don't know, 30 years? That was a Republican. That's pretty much a blue state, or at least a purple state anyway. New Jersey's always been a blue state. California's been a blue state. Now it's going to be even worse with the gerrymandering because they passed that Proposition 50. And you can go to New York. Now that one's the jury's still out on this Johann Mondami. I don't know whether it's legal to have donors from other countries. and I believe other countries donated to his candidacy. And there's other things I think that they're looking. I know the Attorney General, the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi is looking into this. So they got until the first of the year anyway to see if how that's going to work out. But even if he does, he's going to send New York into a tailspin. And some of the things he wants to do, like free buses, the governor of the state of New York is the only one that can pass that. Mondami can't, although he says he can, and he thinks he can. But I think he's going to have a rude awakening. But all those states, they were blue states, are probably going to be won by Democrats anyway. But all they were touting them, we won. The Democrats are saying, on these different, for New Jersey, Virginia, and New York and California. But you kind of figured that was going to happen anyway. But anyway, the whole thing is they've hated Donald Trump since day one because the Democrats was put in and they were put in disarray because they were going to lose their cash cow. They were shitting in tall cotton. They would, whatever euphemism you want to use, whatever phrase you want to use, the Democrats were getting that for this time, but for a long time. And even in the state of California, it's been going on that way. That's why we've been Democrat run for the last 15 or 30 years. I say 30 years. They say 15 years, but I say 30 years. But this is the template that's been set. But I believe, like Misha Maynard, she came over to the Republican side because she thought she was actually going to be able to debate with her fellow Democrats there in her party. And that isn't what they wanted. That isn't what they were going to do. And the Democrat Party has been doing this for a number of years across this country. And I think people are starting to get wise to this. A lot of your moderate Democrats, your centrist Democrats, they're thinking differently. Look at Fetterman. You wouldn't have thought this a couple of years ago when he got elected. It was 4 years ago when he got elected when he ran against Dr. Oz. I didn't think, because he had a stroke or a heart attack, I didn't think he was going to be conscious enough. I didn't think he was going to have it all up here back then. But he does. And look what he does now. The country shouldn't be shut down. That's the right thing to do. And he voted on the Republican side, even though he's a Democrat. He voted with the Republicans to keep the country open. But, of course, the Democrats didn't. They wanted to close it. Well, now they figured out, and even the Democratic leadership in the House and the Senate, they're all stumbling now. They're all going backwards. They don't even have a leader. They're saying that OAC, Olivia Cortez, she's going to be the leader. They even say this Jasmine Crockett's going to be a leader. And I think, what was his name? He's a podcaster. Charlemagne the God said she's going to be the leader. They ought to follow her. Go ahead. And this woman doesn't. I mean, I don't even know where she stands. I don't even think I think she probably is a socialist. But the far left part of the Democrat Party is pretty much socialist. And I think most of the Democrats don't like that. And I think the younger crowd, and there's some of them that are just like Swalwell, he's a jerk. I mean, this guy, he's a California senator now. He's senator now, and I don't know how he got elected, actually. But now he's going to, I think he's a far left socialist anyway. So we're going to see what happens. Now that the country is open again, the government is open again, they're going to debate and talk about health care, which the Democrats wanted. That's why they wanted to shut it down, because they wanted the Republicans to cave in, and they didn't. They did the smart thing. They still got to get rid of this nuclear action. They got to get rid of this, okay? Whatever it's called. Anyway, they're going to do the nuclear action, but they got to get rid of the what is it called? I can't think of it now. I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, that's going to happen if the Democrats ever take control again anyway. But we'll see what happens, because now Trump is and what Trump does, the things that he does, is all in line with what everybody wants. The Democrats want it, actually, but because they hate him so much, because he's getting rid of their cash cow. Remember that. That's what it's all about. It's money and power. And Donald Trump is stripping them of their opportunities to get this insider trading or whatever the Democrats are doing. Like, look at Nancy Pelosi. She makes $150,000 a year, but yet she's worth $60 million. They say it's her husband that does it. I say bullshit on that. I say Nancy Pelosi did it, and that's why she's getting out. She's getting out now while she's on top. And but that's what the Democrat Party, and there are some Republicans that are like that also. This is their cash cow that Donald Trump threatens, because he knows he knows the right way to do things. He knows, like tariffs from other countries investing in the United States, whether it be private or other countries just investing in the United States. We're going to be out of the hole before you know it, because of all the investments in the United States. It's just going to get better and better. And apparently he's going to give us some kind of a stimulus for those that make less than $500,000 a year, or I'm just throwing out a number. I'm not sure, but I guess the lower income people and the poor people are going to get some kind of a stimulus check, and that's what I understand. I don't know. Don't mark my word on that, but we'll see what happens, and then we'll see what happens now that the government's open again, and everybody be back to work, getting paid. And they're going to open things, and it's like in the industry. I mean, I'm in the dairy farming industry, and that's going to open up, and that's going to get better from that end. And so we'll see how things go. And Donald Trump's still got a little over 3 more years to get things straightened out. And it's either going to be J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, or maybe even the governor of Florida. Anyway, that's going to be the ones running for the presidency after Donald Trump, because they're following his lead, and we'll see what happens. And but that's what it's all about. Remember that it's their cash cows, what they're worried about, and that's why they try to keep the government shut down, and it's been shut down more or longer than it ever has before. So, but things are going to get better now. So we're just going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see what happens now. We'll see how the votes go, and because they're going to vote on this Obamacare. They're going to try to. The president's got other ideas, and we'll see what happens. So anyway, this is Coffee Break with Jimmy, and please subscribe and hit that notification bell and press like, and I'll see you next time on Coffee Break with Jimmy. Thank you.